Usually, I'm sitting in my guest room and yapping, but today I'm doing something a little different. We're going to be doing a sort of mini sketchbook tour and also a draw with me. Y'all seem really excited about it, and I hope you enjoy it. I started off this page with a little Duosion, who is my favorite out of its particular evolutionary line. I'm using a generic mechanical pencil to sketch him out because I need to be able to erase, and colored pencils tend to smear in my experience. One day I do want to be able to use colored pencils when I sketch. At the moment I think I just press too hard, which is a common problem for me. My iPad has suffered quite the beating because of it. Hopefully doing traditional art will teach me to be gentler, but we'll see. After I do the sketches, I'll go in and erase the lines to make them fainter, which I found really helps me with this process of using alcohol-based markers and watercolor pencils. Pretty sure this color I'm using for Duosion is called Pale Yellow, which is a pretty good match for his main body. I could have probably gone over his whole body with this color, but because I used darker shades for his cheeks and eyes, but I didn't want to risk it after the Drifloon incident. I'm finding that these markers do bleed a little more than I thought they would, so if I continue with these sparkles, I might try to make them bigger or do a dot technique for coloring. We're going in with a jade green, which is the same saturation level as his main body. I did think about kinda going over his main body with it too, but again, I didn't want to risk anything, and I don't quite understand how to blend alcohol markers still. If anyone has any tips or tricks, please comment down below. Little vivid pink for his cheeks because he deserves a little demure blush.
You see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure.
Eyes I definitely struggled with. Going in with true black is intimidating when you're worried about messing up, but I distracted myself with doing line art, so I didn't fixate too hard. This is my favorite part of Duosion, if I'm honest. I really like doing his lines. These watercolor pencils are super soft, and for some reason that helps with my confidence. I don't really know how else to describe it. It's also a lot easier to do my digital art style with them, where I thicken up some of the lines at the shadow points and have sort of vastly differing line weight in certain areas. Plus, it's nice and colorful. For the outside lines, I used a saturated sort of emerald green, and the lines for the sparkles, I used a reddish orange color. For some final line art touches, I'm going in with a true black to add some eyelashes. Again, he needs to be demure and mindful, but still stunning. And then I use a yellowish green to sort of add some shadows here and there. Still experimenting somewhat, so I'm trying to figure out what to do with shading currently. I definitely think it worked here, but not really on the other Pokemon, so we'll see what I can do in the future. This gel pen. I have a love-hate relationship with it. It's really nice here, and it looks great in real life. The highlights super pop on Duosion, but I make questionable decisions later, and it just looked awful. RIP. To Cosmog. You might call me a fake Pokemon fan because of this, but I've never played a Pokemon game past X and Y unless we count Alpha Ruby. So I've never actually caught a Cosmog outside of like Pokemon Go, I think. But I really liked this design, and I wanted a larger guy in the middle to be able to practice on. Like I said earlier, I'm a digital artist, so I love zooming in, but try as I might, I can't do that with a sketchbook. So to avoid looking like a shrimp as I crane myself over my desk, I sketched out a large round boy. It was at this point that I realized all of the Pokemon I love are round, at least vaguely round. Maybe they're just super easy to draw, and I subconsciously am drawn to that. Anyway, he was definitely a challenge, but I really enjoyed getting to draw him. He's the one I took the most risks with, other than the horrifying Jigglypuff I draw later, but I think he came out really well. Not gonna lie, the true black was a choice and very intimidating, but it still worked out okay. A little wobbly around the circles of his cheeks and eyes, but that's fine. It was a relief to just go in with that lighter yellow, because if I messed up, I could at least try to fix it. I used this pink though. That was a mistake. I tried to make this gradient thing happen because Cosmog does have a galaxy type gradient to his body. Unfortunately, I don't quite know how to use the blender in my set of alcohol markers, so it just kind of looks weird and wonky to me. He just won't acknowledge it past this point. He looks perfect and wonderful, right? No mistakes were made here. And definitely no mistakes were made when I went in with this gel pen. Again, I loved this thing on Duosion. All it did was make the sparkles on Cosmog streaky and pretty awful looking. I think maybe it's because the colors I used for Duosion are really light, and the color I used for this teal section on Cosmog is a heavier saturation. My husband gave me a white acrylic marker, so I might try to use that instead if I ever redraw this piece, but we'll see. Don't be like me, learn from my mistakes. Thankfully, I made a little comeback with the Swirlix, which aside from Duosion is my favorite from this page. He's just so round and fluffy and perfect. He was a good break to have in between the harder to draw ones, though I did end up having a problem where I pressed too hard when sketching his mouth, so it's fine. This light pink marker is also my favorite. Whatever I use with this one either comes out really nice or at least pretty okay, aside from the haunting Jigglypuff. Maybe it's the combo of light pink and more medium pinks that does it for me, who knows, but it just scratches an aesthetic itch of mine. We have the return of the reddish orange pencil for the lines, which I ended up sharpening for this little guy. Really enjoyed lining him after that. I got a lot more precise lines, and I think I'll end up doing that a lot more now. I have a return of the gel pens again, but this time it worked out a lot better, probably because this Swirlix is on the same saturation level as the Duosion. I used orange on him instead of yellow. Oh, and a pink as well. That's really lovely. Dreaded Jigglypuff. Other than the initial sketch being a little stretched out, I need a stand for drawing in a sketchbook for sure. Though this looks like my sleep paralysis demon now that I'm editing this. Since I put some proper pupils on her and a mouth, she looks happy at least. We're going in with that light pink, which is the true saving grace for this. White acrylic markers where things go downhill. Gave time for the paint to dry and used a questionable saturation of blue for Jigglypuff's ears, but hey, you use what you can use, and that was the only match I had. Of course, the vivid pink cheeks. But I tried to color in the eyes and it came out incredibly streaky. Maybe I didn't let it dry enough or didn't use the right technique. If you know what I did wrong, let me know in the comments. But those eyes are the worst. It's like that one horse from TikTok just staring back at me. You know, the Slim Shady horse? There's even more of a resemblance when I put down the red mouth. She looks utterly insane. And again, I used that red colored pencil, which was a mistake for the lines here, but I didn't have a better color match at the time. I do have a few more pink and sort of magenta toned pencils now, so I might go in and use those if I redraw Jigglypuff. Actually, I will for sure, because I hate this the more I look at it. But those are the cleanest lines I've ever done, I think. Unfortunate, truly, but hey, we all make mistakes. Obviously still a little rough around the edges. I might redraw Cosmog at some point, but again, like I said earlier, I do really love Swirlix and Duosion. Duosion especially is just like a very good boy. He looks so cute. And Swirlix is just very aesthetically pleasing. Precious. Jigglypuff, well, I definitely did something wrong with Jigglypuff, but that's okay. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me. There will hopefully be more. I'll probably be doing Pokefusions next time, or maybe more of these circular Pokemon. We'll see. This was my first attempt at the Pokemon. I used fine liners with both of these actually, and I didn't really like how they turned out. Sylveon looks okay. I might redo Sylveon at some point. And Gengar, well, he just looks insane. I ended up not using fine liners at all in the other pieces. I will have to build up my confidence for that. All right, so this is the first page. I did a little bit of experimenting. It ended up being okay relatively, but obviously I've made some mistakes, like Drifloon just looks awful. And then Ghastly, well, we just don't talk about Ghastly. I think Spritzy, Litwick, and slightly Musharna came out okay. The rest of them are horror stories, I think. But I did really like Spritzy. I don't know, it's just this blue bit that really pulls it all together. She's just really awesome. And I love Spritzy in general, so I don't know, I think I did pretty okay on this one. And Litwick is okay. We've got a little bit of smearing here, but I don't know. I think I'll probably be redrawing these three, especially Musharna, just because I really like the way that I did the smoke. and other than the blue, she came out really, really well. Same thing with Spritzy too, I think. Anyway, I hope you liked this little sketchbook tour. It sort of was one and wasn't one. More like a draw with me, but whatever. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully at some point once I finish this, I can actually give a proper in-depth tour of it. It was really nice to be able to do this. It was just for me in between commissions, and it was just really fun. If you have any suggestions on what I should put in my sketchbook next, let me know. I'm thinking I might try my hand at drawing Hatsune Miku. I'm not really into Vocaloid, but I really like her character design, and her hair is just really pretty. If you want to see that or want to see more of this content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And if you super like my content, consider becoming a patron or a channel member. I also have a link to my store down in the description below where you can get lots of cool stickers and prints and different things. And just remember, don't look in your closet. That's where I keep all of my previous iterations of Jigglypuff, and they're getting really hungry. Thank you to Jacques, Herald of the Dark Roast, Meg, Exarch of the Golden Egg, High Artisan Anonymous Bee, Great Alpha Wolf Squilliam William, Nairouz, Seer of Rosy Mercy, Ghost, Infernal Collector of the Damned, Golden Paladin Court, Isabella, Redeemer of Bad Himbos, Keeper of the Lapin Warren, Robin, Most Royal of all the Rats, Ethereal Consort of House Vicarian, Fungal Sovereign Taz, Exalted Curator Wick, the Under-Elf of Delphinia, Paragon of Starlight, an impossible amount of rat babies, Divine Herald Jordan, Estrella, Sage of the Outer Realms, Wretched Sauce of House Worcestershire, Champion Pallypunk of the Immortal Valley, Tailor of Macabre Coney Livery, Eternal Apostle Austin, the Contingent of Fables, the Eminence of Light, Bunny, Exarch of the Ornate Tomb, Harley the Sanguinous, Grand Overlord Silas, Being of Exalted Sunlight, Delegate of Clan Latineurs, Eternal Consul Puja, High Magi Katie, the Herald of Wrens, Knight Susan of the Milkiest Order, Great Seer Clare, and Sir Matthew, Guardian of the Preserved Apiary.